Hi everyone, welcome to a new project. This is Graphic45, Catch of the Day, and that's what we're going to be working with. If you have not already seen the walkthrough video, I will try to remember to link it here, but go ahead and have a look at that. This is a design project for Scrap and Create, and you can get all your supplies there. There'll be a link below. I have got the collection pack. The 8x8, the collection pack is 12x12. I've got the 8x8. I've got some beautiful ribbons. These are grosgrain in navy in a wider and a narrow. I've got a beige in the narrow, and then I've got like an organdy or organza in the red. And I have also got the, what do they call these things? Journaling cards. And I have, let's see, thanks, everything's falling off camera that you can't see. Hang on. Okay, let's see. All right, I've got the stickers. I have the, what are these? Chipboards. I just showed you the journaling cards. I've got the ephemera, and I have the patterns and solids. And I'm also going to use, I don't have them handy, but I've got the Kraft tags, Graphic45 tags in all three sizes, and I will be using those as well. Okay, so let me set this aside for now. If I can pick it up, which doesn't want to. There we go. And all of that's from Scrap and Create. Okay, so if you have seen the walkthrough, you will know the cover is a little complicated. So instead of my usual refer you to my construction video to show you how to do the cover, we're going to do the cover, or at least most of it together. So you are going to need, you'll have your cutting guide, it's linked down below, but you're going to need for your spines 2 pieces that are 1x8 and 1 piece that is 8 by, I believe this is 2 1/4. 2 1/4. Those are for your spines, and there's 3 total. And then you're going to need 4 covers, okay? And the covers are all the same size. They are 6 by 8. Okay, so you're going to need 4 pieces, 6 by 8. Then what you're going to do, and I'm going to turn these over so you can see, we're doing these the same way we would do a 2-color cover, even though it's only one color. You're going to need to take 2 of these covers and wrap them with Kraft on 3 sides. So you're going to line up the cover with the wrap right along the edge, and then just wrap over the 3 sides, just like in the contrasting spine cover. So you're going to 2 of those. And if you'll notice, mine are a little warped because I made the error of using liquid glue to do mine, which didn't work out that well, but they'll flatten out over time, I think. Okay, so that's 2 pieces. The other 2 pieces you're going to wrap, cover them completely, but only wrap the top and bottom, and you can leave the sides raw. Okay, so that's those. Then you're going to take your wide spine, and this piece is 6 1/4 by 9. You can make it 10 if you find it easier to wrap. I only left myself a 1/2 inch. Usually I leave an inch, so if you want to make it 10, go ahead and make it 10. Center your piece on it. We'll talk about the tape in a minute. And then for the 1-inch ones, I had a scrap, so I just used the size I had. So it was 3 inches wide by 9 or 10. Center your piece. Okay, so for the tape, on the right side of the pieces, so where you have Kraft cardstock, which is what I've used, on the ones that are wrapped only on 3 sides, I want you to put on the side that is not wrapped a piece of 3/8 or 1/2 inch score tape, whatever you've got. On the ones that are only wrapped top and bottom, put tape on each of the raw edges. Okay? And then on your wide spine, and actually all your spines, put a 1/4 inch piece as a spacer along each side of the spine piece. And then along the outside and in on the wide one for about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, put score tape, leaving the top and bottom. And I'll show you how I applied this tape in a minute. On the narrow ones, again, 1/4 inch, and then just put 1/3/8 or 1/2 inch along the outside. And on this one, I didn't put this piece of tape yet, so I could show you how I did this, because I really didn't want tape in this area, but I also didn't want to deal with measuring. So I took my tape tearing tool, this is from Scrap and Create, and I just butted up against the bottom of this piece of chipboard and put my piece of tape there. And then I think I put it a little far out, but that's okay. And then just run it up. And as you get close to the other end, put your tape tear, butt it right up against the chipboard there, and when it touches the end, tear. Okay, so that's how I did my tape, and you can actually use your tape tear to score, to burnish if you want. Okay, so now we have all this taped. So the way the cover is going to work, this is the center spine. So you're going to have the center spine. This is one of the ones that's only finished top and bottom. It's going to go there. Then we're going to have one of the narrow spines. And then we're going to have one of the ones that is finished on 3 sides, butting up against that. And what I'm going to do to try to make this a little easier for you to see is I'm going to move these pieces off. And we're just going to make part of the cover first. So this is exactly the way you make a contrasting spine cover, right? So these are going to go like this, and then it's going to continue off that way. Okay, now these are just spacing pieces. So the cover is going to butt up against that tape. And let me get a tool to lift. Okay, and you can use your tape tear, but in this case I think I want a little bit longer ruler, because we'll use that to make sure that this cover lines up evenly. Okay, so we are going to remove the back of this tape. We're going to leave it there, and then we're going to remove the back on this one. Grab those so my cat doesn't get them. Okay, so we're just going to layer that there, just to give us something to rest this against. I've got it lifted up a little bit. Place it until it's butted up against the tape, and then down. Okay, and then you can turn it over and burnish. Okay. All right, and then we're going to repeat that, and this piece is only finished top and bottom. Okay, so for this we are only going to remove one side, to the back of the tape from one side. Okay, and then we're going to remove the back of the tape here, like that. You're going to lay this down to help us make sure everything is straight. Make sure you're putting the one where you remove the tape. And again, lift it up a little bit so it doesn't stick to that yet. Line it up against your 1/4 inch spacer and your ruler to make sure it's straight. There we go. You don't have to fuss too much, because this isn't really a contrasting cover. It's going to be covered with pattern paper and stuff, so it's, the seam is really not going to be visible. Okay, so there's that. And then one thing that we can do before we move on is just burnish. I'm going to burnish from the right side as well as on the inside. And eventually going to have liner here, or a, what do you call it? I just drew a blank. A hinge. So a lot of this is going to be covered. So while this is small, we want to get some of these things done, right? So we're going to do this, and let's go ahead and wrap this. And for that, we're just going to put some tape. You could use glue for this part if you want. This is a little tricky because I only left myself a ½ inch. If you want to make it easier on yourself, leave the full inch. Okay. This is my old, whatchamacallit? Just drew a blank, bone folder. It felt so awkward. There, that's better. I like this new thin one that I've got. Okay. So I'm going to take the back off. And we're going to take, and I'm not going to fully remove these yet. I'm just going to pull them back so that they're out of the way. I'll burnish that a little. Okay. Lift that up and over. And burnish it down. And do the edges. Okay. And you can see I didn't get that very straight, but it's not a big deal because it is going to be completely covered by mats. Okay, I'll just repeat that on this side. And I'm just going to push those back down for now. Okay. Over. Okay. And put those down. Just that. And again, we can burnish from the outside if we want. Get a nice sharp cover. Here we go. Okay, so now we're partway there, right? So the next thing we're going to do is repeat this process with the other narrow spine and the other pieces. Now, for this side, it doesn't really matter because it's reversible, but just so you're keeping it sort of straight in your mind, you're going to have the one that's finished on only top and bottom on the left, then your spine, and then the one that's finished on 3 sides on the right with the finished edge to the outside. So exactly opposite how we did that one. Okay? Again, they are reversible, so if you get it backwards, don't worry about it. But I like to just kind of keep my mind organized that way. Okay? And so we've got our ruler, and we're going to work on this side first. That up. Ooh. Okay. As you can see, I have not yet bought a new cutting mat. I've been eyeing one, but the one I've been looking at is out of stock on Amazon, so we'll see. Okay. All right. So I'm just lining up my ruler. and lifting this up a little bit so that it is not catching on the one that we just did. You know, the tape down there. Okay, there we go. Turn it over, give it a little burnish. It's easy so far, right? This is not hard, it's just big. That's the only thing that makes it difficult to handle, is that it's so large. There's that. These. Okay. And then we're going to line this up. And there we go. There's my edge. There we go. And we'll go ahead and wrap that. Oops, that's a little short. But that'll be covered and held down by a mat later, so it'll be all right. Probably have folded that up a little bit before I remove the back. That's okay. Just fold that over. Not very straight, but it's fine. This one is not cooperating. There we go. Okay. Go. Perfect. Oops, I forgot to lift up that tape. Well, it'll be all right because I've lifted it up from this end. I don't think I'm going to try to, well, we'll see. Yeah, I can get it. Okay. Just don't want to poke a hole in things unnecessarily. Okay, there we go. There we go. Turn it over and give it a good burnish from this side as well. Okay, go. Okay, so now we have the two covers. Make room because this thing is gigantic. Okay. Oops, I moved the light. Hope you can still see. How's that? All right. So now we're going to repeat what we just did at a larger scale. Okay, so we're going to attach this one here and this one here. So it's essentially the exact same thing. We're just working with bigger side pieces and a bigger spine. Okay. So this one what I did on here though, is I put most of the tape on this one and just the narrower piece here. Okay. So I'm going to remove these. And I think, let me get this out of the way. I think I'm going to grab a bigger ruler since this is so large. Oh gosh, I put my tape tearer down on the glue. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay. I'm gonna put that there. And I'm going to remove this piece of tape, the back of the tape. Okay. And we are going to keep it lifted and put it right up against that 1/4 inch and against my ruler. And then press it down. Okay. Easy, right? Now you could use contrasting colors for all these spines if you wanted to, but I just want more room to decorate this cover, so I'm not doing that. Okay, so now we're going to slide this over, give ourselves some space. Be very careful when you're doing this that the finished edge ends up on the outsides, okay? There. Remove this. And I mean, you shouldn't, I mean, the tape alone is going to make sure you end up in the right place, but you could conceivably put the side without the tape down. So just be careful. Right? Okay. And we're going to put that right up against the tape and against the ruler. And press. Okay. Things are now getting unwieldy. Get rid of that. Burnish. Okay. You can see I've got some spots on my cover from where I used wet glue. They'll be covered up down the road. Okay, so I think before I do anything else, I'm just going to bend these up a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put some tape. Okay. So huge. Okay. And I did not leave myself very much there to work with. I think I'm going to have to use 1/4 inch even. I think I didn't put this spine down centered top to bottom very well on this middle piece. But again, all this is going to be covered, so it's fine. I think what I'm going to do, since I had a narrower piece, is just put a little tape here for this one. And might as well do it here as well. A tight fit, but it's going to be okay. Again, if you want to make your life a little easier, leave yourself a full inch top and bottom and you won't have any issue. And I don't know why I chose to do 1/2 inch this time. I've always done 1 inch, but I think because I think I do know why actually. Is I just made a cover for something it's just a project, it's not a tutorial, that's very small, and I used a 1/2 inch on that, but this is not very small, so why I conflated the two is beyond me. And I don't know if I talked about it, I'm just folding this over in the walkthrough, but I finished the project I was doing right before this, And then I worked a little bit on that little project. It's just a little Christmas project I'm working on. And I knew that I was going to do this next. I knew it was coming up. And usually, I don't know, usually when I have a paper and I know I'm going to work with it, I just look at it, flip through it, and it kind of tells me what it wants to be. But I was not getting that with this. And it wasn't that I didn't like it. It wasn't that I was uninspired. It just wasn't working. And I think what it was, I finally figured out, is throwing those away. Graphic45 did a similar collection a couple of years ago, I think. Now 3, 4 maybe. And I liked it, and I made a project with it. And the project I made with it was really small. It was a very small little album. I think I even have a tutorial for it somewhere. One of my very first tutorials, I think. But in any event, I think I had that in mind, and I kept trying to make this something small. This paper did not want to be small. As soon as I got past that, and realized I was going to make something much bigger, then I was like, I had all kinds of ideas. So sometimes you get in your own way. This is a little hard because I like to turn it sideways and I really can't because it's so big. However, that went on very well. Put those back down and burnish. Okay, and then we're going to turn it over. Burnish it from this side. Okay, so now these are going to go in like this, and then it's going to go like this, and that's what we are going to end up with. Okay, like that. All right, so the front cover is actually this piece right here. When it folds over, right? That's going to be our cover. I am happy with what I'm seeing. Okay, so, and then, even though this is a folio cover, and it's going to be kind of a folio, but it's a folio album mishmash, because we're going to put spines here, and put a page on each of these, so that we have a page there, like, so when you look at it here, there'll be a page here, plus all the stuff on the covers. Okay? All right. So I'm going to stop here. Go ahead and get your cover made. And then next time we'll actually start on the project. But I wanted to make sure that you knew how to make this cover before we began. All right. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to click down below and get your cutting guide, and visit Scrap and Create to get your supplies. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.